Hey guys, so excited to be back with you again. Listen, we are covering the order of relationships, okay? How to build relationships from a kingdom perspective, healthy relationships, okay? So listen, there are 5 steps. I did not give them to you all in the beginning because I want you to watch the videos, all right? And so make sure that you click the subscribe button below. Please subscribe to the Uniquely Living radio show channel with Stephanie Monique. And I am Stephanie Monique, the host of the Uniquely Living radio show. We air our show every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from 8 to 10 a.m. Central Standard Time. You can listen to that www.kbnradio.com. You can listen online. We do live streaming, and so if you're in my area, you can listen WKIU 95.1, the Kingdom Broadcasting Network, where we create unity, we build relationships, and we empower people. All right, guys, let's hit it. Step 2, friendship. There are 5 steps, okay? 5 steps to creating healthy kingdom relationships. And so I did this topic because I have a lot of friend girls, a lot of gentlemen as well, that want to know, first of all, how do you engage in proper relationships, right? And so how does that work? What is that process like? And so we're talking about that, and so it's going to be really good. Step 2, friendship. All right. Step 1 was attraction. Good. Yes. Step 1 was attraction. Step 2 is friendship. Now that I know that I'm attracted to you, I like what I see, I like what I hear, okay? And so now I have made the decision that I want to move forward. I want to engage in the process of becoming your friend, all right? I like you, you like me. I circle the yes box, or I check the yes box, okay? And so now we're moving forward to friendship. Friendship is the beginning of the pursuit, all right? Friendship is a priority, okay? It matters that you start putting time towards getting to know one another, okay? You don't just engage in a friendship, or you just don't engage into this friendship thinking that I don't necessarily have to spend any time with you. Yes, you need to spend time with one another because it's important that we get to know one another, all right? So let's break it down. Our priority is something that is important to us, okay? Something that we care about. Something that we can show how important it is to us by the deeds that we do. Does that make sense? So the time of the friendship, this is where you begin to develop a relationship, all right? Listen, I don't care what anybody tells you. Spend the most time in the stage of becoming friends for as long as you need to. I shouldn't have done that. As long as you need to. Stay in that stage. Don't rush it. Don't forsake it. Be friends. Because in the end, the thing that is going to hold you together is the fact that you've developed a friendship. Physical things will pass away. And when they do, what do you have to fall back on? So we have to get to the point to where we can be each other's friend, okay? This is the time when you start developing the relationship, okay? Look, this happens by communication gradually, okay? And you got to understand that there are certain levels of communication, all right? First there's, all the smiles and the giggles and all the butterflies that kind of go off with, getting to know someone new being in your circle, in your life. And then you start talking about, simple things, I've got to do this today. I've got to do that today. This is going on. We're planning this. Can you come? Are you going to be available? And then you start talking about things like, well, my sister, she did this in with her boyfriend, or, with her friends, or we've got this going on, or my uncle's having surgery, such and such. This is planning at my church. And then you start jumping into conversations like, well, what are your goals? What are your strategies? Where do you see yourself? So there are different levels of communication, different things that you guys will talk about, okay? And it'll grow gradually, all right? You also, you're learning one another, you're becoming friends, okay? This is where you have fellowship with one another, all right? And so fellowship, not cuddleship. Fellowship, not kissing ship. Yeah, fellowship, not touching, groping ship. Fellowship. This is where you begin to get an understanding about one another. You understand each other's goals, each other's mindset, perspectives, the way that they think, the way that they communicate, the way that they, their love languages. You understand one another, okay? Because you're spending time with one another. This is where we're talking about friendship, okay? We're talking about how to develop healthy relationships. And this is step 2, friendship. You develop harmony. You develop unity, trust, respect, boundaries. This is also the place where you start developing consistency. You begin to see how consistent one another is with their commitments to you and to others. You're watching for these things. Because listen, guys, this is what you have to understand, okay? This is what I want to make clear to you. The reason you engage in a relationship is because potentially you're looking for marriage. Okay? Now we're talking about kingdom healthy relationships. Why else would you engage in a relationship? To have sex? Did you know that human beings are the only mammals that have sex just for pleasure? Every other animal, mammal with sexual reproductive organs, they have sex to reproduce. Not because it feels good and not because they just want to. And so this is what you have to understand, is that we have to stop going from step 1 to step 5 all in a 24-hour period. What is step 1? Attraction. What is step 5? Intimacy, sex. So we start here at attraction. In 24 hours, we're here at intimacy, sex. We've skipped friendship, emotions, and commitment. Stop that. It's making you have soul ties. It's confusing your system. We must stop engaging in sexual activity with people that we are not committed to and with people whom the Father has not ordained for us to be with. Stop. 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 Cleanse your soul. Cleanse your system. Get yourself together emotionally. Every time you engage in sexual activity with a person, you take on their qualities, you take on their characteristics, you take on the things that they're dealing with in their soul. Sex is not just about natural and physical, it's about spiritual connection as well. And so we're talking about being a friend to someone, learning how to have proper communication, learning how to have proper dialogue with someone, learning how to connect with someone without touching them? Can you connect with someone without physically being involved with them? This is what we got to get to, guys. This is where you build boundaries, okay? We've already said that, just kind of going back a little bit for you. This is where you build boundaries. This is where you build consistency. This is where you understand and you build forgiveness. Because there are going to be some things that you don't, there are going to be some things that you don't like. There are going to be some things that they're going to do that you're not going to be like, you'll be like, I don't like that. Hold up, wait a minute. Wait. Okay? And so this is where you're learning, okay? Now remember, we're in this to see if I want to be married to you, okay? Honesty takes place. This is where you ask questions, all right? Listen, guys, this is where you check character. All right, this is where your mind, your system, your emotions, and your soul, this is why your soul has to be healthy. Your soul is your mind, your will, and your intellect, okay? Your soul contains your emotions, and this is why you have to be healthy, because you're checking for these red flags, okay? You're checking for these alarms that are going to be going off in your system. And as you begin to ask these questions and you begin to check character, and so when things don't seem so right to you, you're able to deal with it. But also, this is where you start saying to yourself, I'm not so sure about connecting with you. Now listen, why do we connect with people? We already established that, okay? You got to make sure that the relationship is God ordained. Are they connected to your future? Where do they see themselves in 5 years? Do they even know the vision and the plan that God has for them? Are they born again believers? If you're a Christian, how can you date someone who is not a Christian? Doesn't the word of the Lord say that Amos 3:3, how can two walk together except they be agreed? So see, there are some things that you have to start asking yourself even before you allow yourself to get engaged. To enter into a friendship, not engage with a ring, but to enter into a friendship, to enter into a situationship. Some people are not even in a relationship or friendship. They in a situationship, meaning that I call you when I want to have sex. We have sex and then we're done. Again, men can only do what we allow them to do. So if you will raise the bar and raise the standard of how a man is to treat you, then they have to come with all that they need to come with the whole total package. My grandmother and my mother and my spiritual mother always have told me, you have to be so far and wrapped in God that a man has to go to God to get to you. And I know, ladies, sometimes that sounds cliche. And you say, well, I don't want to be in church all the time. That's not talking about being in church all the time. Nor is it talking about being churchy. Nor is it talking about you walking around with skirts to your ankle, or you singing in the choir, or with no makeup on, or with your hair pulled in a bun, or that you can't have fun, or you can't travel, and you can't, do certain things. It's not talking about that. It's talking about your heart, your love, your admiration for God, being so far into God, into the secret place, so far hidden in God that he has to go to God to say, hey, I want that jewel that you've got in that back case. I want to be able to court her, and to court her properly. That's what we're talking about, ladies. Okay? So that's why we have to be whole, we have to be healed, and we have to be healthy in order for us to really properly engage in having a friend, okay? And I'll just tell you this. You can leave your emails, man. Listen, you can email us at the Uniquely Living Radio Show at gmail.com. Yeah, Uniquely Living Radio Show at gmail.com. Email us if you have questions, even if you have something that you would like to say to some things that I am pointing out to you today. You have to be even at a point where you're able to be whole. And what I mean by that is because, listen, you got to understand, we're engaging in being friends with one another, right? And so it's important to be friends, and it's important to establish this relationship, to establish that, you know, I am me, you're you, but we're whole people. Because listen, two wholes come together to make a whole. Not one half and one half that comes together. Because essentially, in the end, again, we're trying to build a relationship so that we can have a healthy relationship, which eventually will lead to a healthy marriage. Okay? And it's important for us to be friends. It's important for us to understand one another. It's important for us to be able to learn to set boundaries early. And then to also be honest with each other, okay? And we said this, you ask questions, you check character. Listen, find out what they honor. Like, I've always heard this statement too. Men will treat their women like they treat their wives. I mean, men will treat their women like they treat their mothers. So does the young man that you are in a friendship with, okay, because listen, girlfriend and fiance, technically, I mean, I've never seen those in the word of the Lord. The word of the Lord says that he that finds a wife finds a good thing. Not he that finds a girlfriend who is growing to become a wife, and then eventually she becomes my fiance, and then we get married. Now, where did all that come from? Is that a good process? Absolutely. You know, you go through the engagement process. This gives you time to plan a wedding, and then you plan your wedding, you get all of your things together, and then you make the commitment, and then you're married, right? But traditionally, where did that come from? And who said that that's what we had to do? Is it right or is it wrong? I'm not negating the fact, you know, that it's wrong or that it's right. I'm not saying that. But I am saying that we have to stop putting the cart before the horse. So all of this, that's my girlfriend, that's my fiance, and then you're acting like you're married before you're married, like boyfriend and girlfriend living together. Boyfriend and girlfriend having the same accounts already. Boyfriend and girlfriend buying homes together, and you know, both of your names are on them. Why? You're not committed to that person. You're doing things out of order. Remember, the topic is the order of relationships. How to build healthy kingdom relationships. Everybody's not into the whole kingdom thing. You will be, but everybody's not into it. So that's what we're talking about. Our perspective comes from biblical standpoints, from biblical perspectives of how to build healthy relationships, okay? Healthy relationships that yield healthy marriages that have healthy people in them, okay? That know how to communicate, how to talk, how to resolve conflict, because there's going to be conflict. You know, and some of these tools you can even take over to your sister-to-sister relationships, to your coworker, to your mentor relationship, mentee relationships. You can take some of these things over to that as well. We'll go back to what we're talking about here. But I wanted to make that clear that we're friends. And friends don't sleep over at friends' house. Friends don't check phone bill statements. Friends don't cuddle up and watch movies. We're talking about building healthy kingdom relationships. And I'm trying to tell you that when you put yourself into those situations, other things are able to happen, okay? That is where you get the whole hot and bothered, other things start coming on, and the next thing you know, you're in bed and we've had sex. And now we have contaminated our relationship. Yeah. All right. So this is where you check character, okay? You find out what they honor. What does it mean to honor? It means to respect, to esteem highly. You know, what they value. What is it that the other person values? Do they value relationships? Do they value the word of the Lord? Do they value kingdom? Okay. Do they value prayer? Do they value their mother, their father? Do they honor them, their mother and their father? Do they honor the word of the Lord? Do they honor commitments? Are they disciplined? Okay. This is where you're able to, we're still talking about friendship. We're building a friendship. We're learning one another. And in this stage of friendship, you search their goals. What goals do they have? Where do they want to be? What do they want to do? And then even after you've searched them and you've asked these things, you've talked about them, then you say, okay, have you written them down? Are you serious about them? You know, what goals have you accomplished? Okay. How have you progressed? What are your strategies? What is the vision that you have? Do you even know what God said about you? What is the vision that God gave you for you, your family, your finances, your ministry? You know, are you even working in ministry? Does that matter to you? How do you feel? And listen, guys, listen, it's okay if they're not. You know what I'm saying? It's okay. But what if you have a call on your life, or you're working in ministry, or if the person that you're dating, they're working in ministry? How do you handle that? Those are things that you need to discuss. So how do you feel if you have someone who is, you know, called to the fivefold ministry, such as apostle, prophet, evangelist, teacher, or pastor? How does that make you feel? How would you handle that? Do you even want to be in a role like that? Those are things that you need to discuss. So you search their goals, search their desires. What is it that they desire? What are the desires that are close to their heart? Do they want children? How do they feel about disciplining children? How do they feel about going to services? Do they want to go to church? Do they not want to go to church? Do they believe in going to church on Saturdays or Sundays, on Wednesdays? Do they even want to go on Sundays at all? How do they feel about family, gatherings, family reunions? How do they feel about handling holidays? Do they even celebrate holidays? Do they like Christmas? Do they like Thanksgiving? Do they like birthday parties? What are their desires? And then what are their disciplines? Do they want to work out? Do they like working out? Do they like home cooked meals? Can you cook? Can you wash clothes? Do you eat pork? Do you eat chicken? Do you eat fish? Are you allergic to anything? We're talking about being friends, guys. If I go out to dinner with my best friend, she's gonna know what I want to drink. It's gonna already be if I'm not there, it's gonna already be on the table when I get there. There's gonna be a bowl of lemons. She's gonna have me a straw. And depending on where I am, and normally they know where I am, they'll say she's either gonna want water or sweet tea. Like they just know, okay? And so, and depending on what restaurant we're at, they're gonna know that I'm gonna want some bread with some honey butter. And if they don't have honey butter, it's gonna be like, well, do you have any honey? Because she probably gonna make her own honey butter. And then depending on, like, if we're at the Mexican restaurant, because we love Mexican food. If we're at the Mexican restaurant, they're gonna say, okay, she's gonna want some cheese dip. So I said all that to say, what do you know about them? Can you order for them? Can you have a conversation in their absence? and then it be something that they would say or that they would want to know? Do you know how they think, how they process? Look, these are all things that you develop. And listen, it takes time to do this. So you can't be friends for 6 months and be like, this the man of my dreams and I'm gonna get married. No, ma'am. You don't even know how he responds to things in a crisis. You don't even know how he responds in different seasons. You don't even know how he handles pressure or adversity. What if he loses his job? What does he do? How does he respond to that? Does he already have children? And how is the relationship with him and their mother? You need to understand, does she have children? And what is the relationship with her and their father? Do they have a good relationship? What if they can't pay all of their bills and they're short on some money? How do they handle that? How do they get the money? Do you help, or do they have other people that help? I mean, there's so many dynamics to people and to things. And of course, listen, we won't get it all right. We won't be 100% sure, about some things, and you're never really ready until you actually cross that road. But I'm telling you what, it's better to be better. It's better to be more prepared than to be not prepared at all. It's better to have a plan than to have no plan at all. With no plan, you plan to fail. And so it's better to talk about these things. My bishop has been saying that conversations birth new seasons. You shift by the conversations that you have. And so why not have the conversation? What is their idea of how to raise children? Do they believe in disciplining their children? Do you believe in actually whooping or, like punishment? Or, taking away things? Like, how does that work? These are all questions we need to ask. What are their disciplines? What are their family dynamics and their backgrounds? Who crazy in your family? Yeah, I said it. Are there any signs of mental illnesses? Are there any health challenges that we need to know about? Where does your family name come from? Does your family even like each other? Do they get along? Because you got to understand, once you start dating the person, like you date their family too. And once you marry a person, you marry their family too. And so you don't want to be that significant other that never goes to any of the family functions. You don't want to be that significant other where everybody's all together, the family's together, and then you come and they be like, oh, here they come. You don't want to be that person. So this is why we spend time in the friendship stage. We said this. Do they know their purpose? Do they know their destiny? Do they honor spiritual protocol? What is spiritual protocol? A lot of people, this is something that people are not talking about. Do they honor their pastor, their leader? Do they actually care about what they think and what they say? So do you believe in counseling before marriage? Do you believe, are you that one that says, hey, I'm interested in dating, I want you to meet them. Can we go to dinner possibly so that, you can kind of get a good feel for them to see, Or would your friend say, I'm grown. I don't have to meet your pastor for them to approve me. If you want to date me, you date me. And if you don't, then keep it moving. Do they honor spiritual protocol? Do they want to be married? Are you just dating me just to pass the time? Am I just something for you to get over somebody else? Are you even looking towards your future? Is marriage even on your radar? Is it something that you even want to do? Have you been married before? Are you still friends with your ex-wife, ex-girlfriend? Are you having sex? You need to ask these questions. Are you sexually engaged with anybody right now? How many partners you have right now? Have you been tested? Are they pregnant? You have protected sex or unprotected sex? And if they tell you that they having sex right now, that should be an exit for you. Okay, thank you. Have a great day. Because if they already having sex, that means that there's something that they're going to want. Oh. Now we're talking about kingdom relationships. We're talking about the order of relationship, kingdom relationship, how to have healthy kingdom relationships. Yeah. All right. The principle of friendship is found in Amos. And we're going to wrap this up. This video is pretty long here. But listen, we spend a lot of time on friendship because this is the place where you have to spend a bulk of your time where you're talking about building a healthy relationship, okay? I believe this is a unique ism, okay? This is not in the Bible. I repeat, this is my disclaimer. This is not in the Bible. This is a unique ism, okay? This is a Stephanie Monique quote. I believe that you should date someone at least for 2 seasons. What are you saying? What is that? What does that mean? It means this. Date someone for at least 2 years before there's any movement or any engagement or marriage. Why do you say that? This is why. You're able to go through the seasons naturally with them and spiritually. Because people do change. I've changed. I've changed my mind about certain things. My morals have grown. They have been enlightened because of the convictions that I have now, because of the word of the Lord that has been sown on the inside of me. I've grown in faith. There are things that I will do today that I would not have done then. There are things that I won't do today that I would have done back then. And so spend time with a person, learning them, getting to know them, building a healthy relationship. It matters, the foundation, and it takes more time to get those roots down into the ground so that when you are going through the other stages such as emotions and commitment and intimacy, when storms come, when challenges come, when trials come, you're bending but you won't break, and it's because of the roots that you have established in your friendship stage. It's important to know how a person feels about certain things. It's important for a person to experience death in the family. It's important for a person to experience maybe some financial, changes, not difficulties, but just changes. And it's important for you to be able to go through those things with them. That is where you build the tenacity. That is where you build the trust. That is where you build the confidence within one another. And that causes for a good, healthy relationship. So I think that it is important for you to date a person at least for 2 seasons, which is like 2 years. Okay, because you're able to go through the spring, the summer, and the fall, and then you're able to go through another spring, summer, and the fall. And listen, guess what? I'm comparing one spring, summer, and fall to the other spring, summer, and fall. But just with you, though. Remember, we're building consistency. Consistency even with our own selves. Consistency with our relationship with the Father. Consistency with each other. Okay? So it's important for us to get to these points in these places so that we can continue to build. All right, and so let's move forward because we're going to end this. We're already at 33 minutes. You guys are phenomenal. If you watch this video towards the end, that means that something has gripped you, and I am super excited. 2 walk together except they be agreed. Amos 3:3. We already covered that. Okay? Friends are like-minded, okay? Friendship is a relationship that is entered by 2 individuals, and it is only as good or as close as the individuals choose to make it. A friend is one who can be with you. They will never fear you or judge you. Okay, so that's the point that you get to see. You grow into that point. Your friendship grows. The stages and the level of your friendship becomes more compounded the more that you grow with one another. Okay? A friend is someone that you can confide in and that you can have trust with. A friend is someone that respects you and you respect them. It's not based upon your worthiness, nor is it based upon how well they like you. Like, that's my friend, so you be their friend. Right? It's based upon the likeness of mind. So again, that's why you go through all that other stuff. What are your goals? What do you like? What do you dislike? Because I want to know how good of a friendship that we're going to have, okay? Proverbs is another good source of wisdom regarding friends. Give you some scriptures here. You guys can read them on your own time. Proverbs 17:17, Proverbs 18:24, Proverbs 27:6. And this is a good one, Proverbs 27:17, where it says iron sharpens iron. Right? And so when you think about your friends, you never really think about how they are to help you and sharpen you. But remember, in attraction, if you watch that first video, we talked about why you are attracted to one another, and you know, their strengths and their weaknesses, and how you can begin to embrace one another in their uniqueness, okay, in their difference, right? Because we know that diversity embraces, unity achieved. And once we get to that point of unity, that God commands the blessing. That's the end of this one, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in to the relationship video, to the order of relationships. Step 2, friendship. This is the point and the place where you spend the most time. You gotta know that, okay? Thank you so much again. I am your host, Stephanie Monique of the Uniquely Living Radio Show. Please make sure that you tune in every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from 8 to 10 a.m. All right. I need you guys to tune in, like this show on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, and please subscribe below. All right. Make sure you hit that button. You subscribe. I'll see you in the next video. Step 3, we're going to handle it. We're going to do it. We're going to talk about it. It's emotions. Make sure you guys stay connected. Thank you so much. WKIU 95.1, the Kingdom Broadcasting Network, where we create unity, we build relationships, and we empower people. Tune in.